Okay, so you sent over this interesting announcement from Race Oncology. It looks like there's quite a bit packed in there about a clinical trial.
Yeah, it's definitely worth digging into. It's an ASX release detailing some progress they're making.
Right. So for this deep dive, let's focus on unpacking this specific news. They've activated a second trial site for their drug candidate, RC220. We want to really understand what that means for its development. Yeah.
Exactly. Instead of just, glancing at another headline, let's get to the core of this announcement. Our mission is to explore this step, opening this second location for patient enrollment, and figure out the implications for RC220 and, well, potentially down the line.
Okay, let's jump right into the announcement itself then. The key piece of news is that Race Oncology now has a second site active, enrolling patients for their phase 1 clinical trial of RC220. Where is this new site exactly?
The announcement specifies as part of the Central Coast Local Health District. That covers both Gosford and Wyong Hospitals.
Gotcha. And this isn't the only place the trial's happening, is it? They already had one site going.
That's right. The very first site to get activated and start enrolling was the Southside Cancer Center, which is in Miranda, New South Wales.
Okay, 2 sites now.
Yeah, and they give a timeline too. Ethics approval came through March 31st this year. Then the first site, Southside, was activated April 3rd.
Wow, quick turnaround.
Seems like it. And now this second site, Central Coast, got going on April 22nd, 2025. So you can see some definite forward momentum in getting this trial properly underway.
2 sites active, that feels like a significant step. Now, just take a step back for a moment. What's the main goal of a phase 1 trial like this one for RC220? What are they trying to find out at this early stage?
That's a really fundamental question. Phase 1 trials are primarily about safety, seeing how a new drug behaves in humans for the first time.
Safety first, always.
Absolutely. Researchers look really closely at how the drug moves through the body. That's the pharmacokinetic data, or PK data. Understanding that helps them figure out the right dosage, how often it needs to be given to be, effective and safe. And specifically here, they're trying to find the maximum tolerated combined dose, the MTCD, when RC220 is given alongside doxorubicin.
Doxorubicin, right, that's a standard chemotherapy, so safety is the main thing, but it sounds like they might be looking for other hints too.
Yes, exactly. While safety and PK are critical in phase 1, this particular trial is also designed to gather some preliminary clinical data. They're looking for early signs of cardioprotection, protecting the heart, anti-cancer activity, and also its effect on something called M6A RNA activity.
M6A RNA. Okay, that sounds technical. We should probably circle back to that one.
Definitely.
But first, can you tell us a bit more about the trial design? Is it just these Australian sites involved?
No, actually, it's set up as an open-label trial. That means both the researchers and the participants know what treatment is being given.
No placebo in this case.
Not in this setup, no. And it's intended to run across multiple sites, not just in Australia, but also Hong Kong and South Korea are planned locations too. So activating these first 2 Aussie sites is sort of the first step in getting the bigger global trial operational.
And I saw it mentioned a 2-stage design. Why split it into 2 parts like that?
Good question. The 2-stage structure allows them to be a bit more flexible and learn as they go. Stage 1, the plan is to enroll up to 33 patients.
Okay.
These patients will get increasing doses of RC220 combined with that doxorubicin. The main goals here are really nailing down the safety, how well patients tolerate it, getting that PK data we mentioned, finding the highest safe combined dose, the MTCD, and also observing any initial effects on biological markers like that M6A RNA.
Okay, so stage 1 sets the groundwork. What happens after that in stage 2?
Well, after they've collected and carefully looked at the data from stage 1, they call that an interim analysis, the researchers will decide on the best dose of RC220 to move forward with.
Makes sense.
Then stage 2 kicks off with an additional 20 patients. The focus there is still on safety and tolerability, of course, but also starting to look more closely for those early signals of efficacy. Is it protecting the heart? Is it showing signs of fighting the cancer?
It sounds quite thorough for an early-stage trial. The announcement also mentioned a Bayesian design. What's the advantage of using that statistical approach?
The Bayesian design. Think of it as a more adaptive way to run the trial. Instead of being locked into a rigid plan from day one, they can actually adjust certain things based on the data that starts coming in. It can make the whole process potentially faster, more efficient. It's like adjusting your route using live traffic data instead of just following an old paper map.
Okay, that makes sense. More dynamic. Now, let's get into why this specific combination. RC220 with doxorubicin. What's the thinking behind pairing these two?
Right, so doxorubicin is a really common chemotherapy drug. It's used for a whole range of cancers.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
The announcement itself points to data showing it can get response rates up to 35% in various advanced solid tumors, things like breast, lung, ovarian, bladder, liver. Quite a long list, actually, so
Yeah.
it definitely works against cancer.
But isn't it also known for having some pretty rough side effects, especially related to the heart?
That's the crucial point. You're absolutely right. Drugs like doxorubicin, they belong to a class called anthracyclines. While effective, they carry a known risk of cardiotoxicity, heart damage.
Okay, so where does RC220 fit in?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. Preclinical work done by Race suggests that bisantrene, which is the active drug in RC220, might actually boost doxorubicin's cancer-killing power.
Boosted. How much?
Their data from back in September 2023, I think, show this enhancement in like 85% of the 143 different cancer cell lines they tested, which is pretty significant.
Wow, okay. So the idea isn't just adding another drug, they're actually hoping RC220 makes the doxorubicin work better against the cancer.
Exactly. And this is the key part, potentially protect the heart from doxorubicin's damaging effects at the same time.
So like a double benefit, better efficacy and less toxicity.
That's precisely the hypothesis they're testing in this trial. The goal is for the RC220 combination to offer both enhanced anti-cancer activity and cardio protection compared to just using doxorubicin by itself. If this trial confirms that, it could be a really big deal for treating lots of different solid tumors.
Okay, that makes the rationale much clearer. Now, you mentioned M6A RNA earlier, and that the trial is looking at RC220's activity there too. Why is that significant?
Right. M6A RNA modification, it's a bit complex, but think of it as little chemical tags or switches on our RNA molecules. These switches influence how genes are expressed and how cells function.
Okay.
And what's emerged is that when this process goes wrong, gets dysregulated, it's linked to the development and spread of many types of cancer.
Ah, so it's involved in cancer development.
Yes. And independent research, including some from City of Hope that Race often mentions, identified bisantrene again, the active part of RC220, as a potent inhibitor of an enzyme called FTO. Yeah, FTO is a key player in controlling these M6A RNA switches. So by studying RC220's effects on M6A RNA, they're exploring another potential way this drug might be fighting cancer, sort of at a deeper molecular level.
Fascinating. It adds another layer to what they're investigating. Okay, this all sounds scientifically promising, but let's bring it back to the practical side. What does this news about the second site opening actually mean for patients, for people who might be interested in participating?
Good question. The announcement is quite clear on this. If a patient is already being treated at one of the active trial sites, so that's now Southside Cancer Center in Miranda or the Central Coast Local Health District.
Gosford and Wyong Hospitals, right?
Correct. Then they can discuss it directly with their own doctor there, see if they might be eligible and if it's right for them.
And what about patients who are treated elsewhere, at different hospitals or clinics?
For those patients, the advice is to talk to their own oncologist first. Their oncologist can then assess the situation and see if referring them to one of the active trial sites might be a suitable option.
But it's important to stress, isn't it, that joining a trial isn't automatic. There are specific criteria people need to meet.
Oh, absolutely. Like any clinical trial, potential participants need to fully understand everything involved and give their informed consent.
Of course.
And then the trial doctors and the team will need to carefully review their medical history, do assessments, and make sure they meet all the specific requirements for enrollment. It has to be a good fit, medically speaking.
Definitely. So if listeners want to find out more details, maybe track progress or see eligibility criteria, where should they look?
The announcement points them to a few key places. Firstly, there's the official clinical trial registry, clinicaltrials.gov.
That's the main public database, right?
Exactly. All the details are there, including the list of sites as they become active. The specific identifier for this trial is NCT06815575.
Okay, NCT06815575.
Yeah. People can also find information on the Race Oncology website itself. And if they have specific questions, there's a dedicated email, trials@raceoncology.com.
Trials@raceoncology.com. Good resources to have. Finally, for anyone maybe less familiar with the company driving this, can you give us a quick sketch of Race Oncology?
Sure. Race Oncology is listed on the Australian Stock Exchange, ticker RAC. They're a biopharmaceutical company focused on cancer treatments.
And their main focus is this drug, bisantrene.
Yes, their lead asset is bisantrene, which is the active component in the formulation they call RC220. As we've discussed, bisantrene isn't brand new. It has a clinical history. The hope is it can be effective against various cancers, but with less heart toxicity than those older anthracyclines.
And their current strategy is really built around these combinations, like with doxorubicin.
That seems to be the main thrust right now,
Yeah.
yes. Evaluating RC220 with anthracyclines in solid tumor patients, aiming for that improved efficacy and heart protection. They're also looking into RC220 for acute myeloid leukemia, or AML.
And it looks like they're working with quite a few well-known research institutions, too.
They are. The announcement mentions collaborations with places like ASX, City of Hope, MD Anderson, Shiva City of Health, UNC School of Medicine, and also Australian universities like Wollongong and Newcastle.
So building partnerships.
Seems so. And they also say they're actively looking for partnerships, licensing deals, or even potential mergers or acquisitions to help push development forward and get bisantrene out to patients globally if it proves successful.
Okay, so wrapping this up then. This announcement about activating the second clinical trial site, it really feels like a tangible step forward for RC220's clinical journey.
Absolutely. It's not just paperwork. It's about opening physical locations where the research can happen, where patients can be enrolled. It's a concrete move towards getting the phase 1 trial fully up and running and generating that crucial data on whether RC220 plus doxorubicin lives up to its potential.
That potential being, again, fighting cancer more effectively while potentially protecting the heart.
Exactly. Tackling both the cancer and a major side effect of a common treatment.
When you look at all the challenges in cancer therapy, what part of this announcement really stands out to you as potentially the most impactful?
That's a good question. For me, it really is that dual promise, trying to enhance a known chemotherapy while mitigating one of its most serious drawbacks, the cardiotoxicity. If they can actually pull that off.
Yeah.
If RC220 genuinely allows for more effective treatment with less long-term heart risk, that could really shift the treatment landscape for a lot of patients with solid tumors. And I have to say, the M6A RNA angle, while still early days, adds a layer of intrigue about maybe a novel way this drug works. It bears watching.
Definitely one to keep an eye on. So if you want to dig deeper into the trial specifics or learn more about the company, remember to check the registry at clinicaltrials.gov. The number is NCT 06815575, or visit the Race Oncology website. And that email again was trials@raceoncology.com.
Good summary.
Cancer research is, well, it's a long road, isn't it? But steps like activating new trial sites are crucial milestones along the way, offering hope for developing newer and maybe kinder therapies.